As they did with the Kings earlier this week, the Seattle Kraken, who are out of the playoff picture, will try to upset VGK tonight at the Fortress. No telling who's going to be suiting up for the Golden Knights. We have much more ahead right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cordasco, longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and host of the Saturday Sports Beat Show on Odyssey, along with JoJo Zydeco. That's Chris Gawlik right there. You see him on the screen. The collectibles editor for the Hockey News, the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Coming up later on in today's show, can VGK afford to throttle down late in the season? And our locks of the night. Was this supposed to be, Chris, a playoff season for the Kraken? You know, Seattle has now missed the playoffs 3 times in 4 years. Blame it on defensive issues. They've had all sorts of issues there defensively. Only the Blackhawks and the Sharks have allowed more goals this season. And you couple that with the lack of scoring and injuries that kept players like Jordan Eberle out of the lineup for something like 40 games, and the season went upside down for the Kraken. What Seattle team shows up tonight? The one that beat the LA Kings 2-1, or the one that lost the following night in Utah 7-1? This will be the Kraken's third game in 4 nights.
The Kraken are playing out the string right now. The season's not gone anywhere. It's going to be a mirrored preview today and tomorrow, talking about the Kraken and the Preds, right? 2 teams that spent for a couple of the top-tiered free agents in Marchessault and Chandler Stevenson, at least from the contracts that they got. And unfortunately, the seasons went sideways. I mean, good for the Golden Knights maybe, but unfortunate for Seattle. You mentioned which team shows up. It's game 78. They've been out of the playoff picture for, basically a matter of months right now. So I think it's simply get through the game and move on.
They've had major goaltender issues too. Philip Grubauer, 7-16, 3.59, 873 save percentage. Joey Decord is probably like the Jacob deGrom or the Zach Greinke of hockey there, in that he gets no goal support. 55 games, 53 starts, 27, 21, and 5. He's had an outstanding season with a 2.70 goals against, Chris, 905 save percentage, but they just don't get a lot of goal support for Decord, and it's got to be probably Decord who gets the start tonight, I would think, and they still want to beat the Golden Knights in this battle of the last 2 expansion teams.
Teams have a way of rallying around a player. We've seen it whenever the Golden Knights go to Buffalo for Jack Eichel. The Kraken are going to want to support Chandler Stevenson and do what they can to get him a victory tonight against the Vegas Golden Knights. Not that it was really a messy breakup or anything like that. Stevenson got paid, good on him. And you always want to stick it to your former team. So this will probably be, the most motivation the Kraken have had in a while this season. So I think they show up, but like you said, 4 games, 3 games, 4 nights, whatever it was, not a good season. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot from the Kraken, but on the flip side, what are we going to see from the Golden Knights right now as far as who's on the ice, injuries, sickness, and any other surprises that might happen in this stage of the season?
Yeah, and the former Golden Knight, Chandler Stevenson, check out these stats. So 13 goals, 51 points this season, 75 games. VGK last season, same thing, 51 points, 75 games. So he's pretty consistent there. They just don't have a major scoring threat on this Seattle Kraken team. And if you have Stevenson, who is so consistent and steady up there amongst the leaders, they need someone that can get the puck in the net, basically, and help out their goaltenders. And you were just talking, no telling who will be suiting up for the Golden Knights tonight. Jack Eichel, does he come back? Did he come back to Las Vegas early, right after they played in Canada? I like the shrugging today. It's pretty cool. It's good to see you on the street corner. Someone had fun just kind of talking about you and the sound effects and everything there. But of course, not playing at Colorado. Perhaps Eichel came back, got some treatment. Alex Pietrangelo, Nick Hague. My guess would be that they're probably back in the lineup. They had an illness, and hopefully it was just a flu bug that went around. And, VGK could be playing without those players, but with Aiden Hill in net, of course, I think they could still win a game like this tonight if they missed those three players, including Herb.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, like you said, who's coming back, who's sick, who's not sick, if Eichel was a short-term thing, et cetera, et cetera. Back to Chandler Stevenson, like you said, 51 points, 75 games, same point total from a year-over-year basis. I guess the positive in Stevenson is the Golden Knights this year are scored in around the 260s as far as their total goals scored, where the Kraken are in the 230s. So if you look at it like that, Chandler Stevenson is actually maybe doing a little bit better year-over-year as he's factoring in a larger percentage of the goals. We said this about Stevenson every year. He's the boringest 50-point scorer in the National Hockey League. You just, you're watching some games, he's a non-factor. He gets a point here, he gets a point there. Halfway through the season, he's got 28 points. In the last third of the season, he's in the 40s, and he gets somewhere between, 55 and 65 points. And it's not a knock on him by any means, it's just the reality. And, like I said, back to the Golden Knights, and we'll hit this more in the second segment, but is this a situation where more players are getting rested? Is this a situation where there are some bona fide injuries? These are the questions that need to be answered right now.
VGK, we kind of touched on this yesterday for a bit. They're very much a penalty-prone team right now. I went back, and they've had, in the last 3 games, 10 penalties. That's not VGK-like, right? 10 power play opportunities for their opponents. Oh, and yes, I'm already going to tip you off here because I'm going to have to pick a 3-2 final as it's been the last 3 games. Last 3 scores, 3-2. So take the under too, okay, Gawlik. But yeah, talk about them. They have to stay out of the box, especially come playoff time.
Yeah, penalties kill in the playoffs. They hurt in the regular season as well. You got some younger players in there. You got some injuries. You got some players playing in spots maybe they're not as quite accustomed to. So I'm not going to put a lot of concern into the penalty trouble as of late. Now, if it happens each of the next 5 games between now and the end of the season, okay, fine. Then you got something to look at. And speaking of the end of the season, I think it's 4-6 for the Golden Knights down the stretch too. The season will end for the Golden Knights, I believe, next Wednesday on the road again. So yeah, it's going to be a sprint to the finish line here. And like I said, I'm really curious to see how the lineup shakes out.
The IKEA line, they continue to buzz. And I think that the key to success on that line, obviously you're getting good production now from Riley Smith, who had 2 goals in a game on the road. And then William Karlsson starting to get into the act, and he's scoring. But I go back and I just keep thinking about Victor Olofsson. And Cassidy wanted everyone to shoot more. No one listened except for Mr. IKEA line himself, Victor Olofsson. Olofsson he'll shoot from anywhere and all angles. And again, it took him 14 shots to finally break through on the road trip there, but he had a 9-attempt game. So he just keeps shooting the puck. And maybe that's why good things are happening, because he couldn't get right. Cassidy couldn't even get Jack Eichel to shoot the puck more in that top line.
The difference is Eichel is a really dynamic passer who creates space. Olofsson is not that player. Olofsson was the benefit of a wake-up call, right? He was a healthy scratch for multiple games, playing in a line that took a little while for him to figure out. And then William Karlsson comes back from injury. Riley Smith has the chemistry, of course, with William Karlsson for hundreds of games. So it's not going to be terribly difficult for a skilled player to fit in. And Olofsson, I mean, yes, obviously we need him to back check and play defense and such, but his responsibility on that line is creating scoring attempts. And hopefully he'll be the benefit of the chemistry that Karlsson and Smith have to get those scoring attempts. And he's a player who needs to find a path to 2 or 3 shots a game. If he has 2, 3, 4 shots a game, chances are there's going to be a quality scoring chance in there, maybe a goal or two.
Yeah, and it took a little bit for them to get back in sync there, especially Carlson and Smith. Are you surprised at all at the resurrection of Riley Smith, of his career now coming back to VGK? And once again, like, it's a contract year, so we'll see if he keeps that house again here and plays somewhere else.
Pittsburgh, non-playoff team, similar situation of Seattle and Nashville for the last couple of years. They go out and get Erik Karlsson, big free agent. Riley Smith is kind of the quiet trade and all that after the Stanley Cup. Pittsburgh doesn't work out last year. This year, the New York Rangers, your Rangers have been an absolute dumpster fire. They had a pocket. Yeah, they had a pocket where it looked like they might crawl in, but now, like you said, they're toast. And Riley Smith was a healthy scratch. And I'm sure he got inklings of, Vegas, maybe a couple other teams on the radar. I'm sure he was like, please let me Vegas, please let me Vegas, please let me Vegas. And his prayers were answered. Welcome back, Riley.
Could VGK afford to throttle down as the Golden Knights now close out? They're very close to wrapping up the division, closing out the campaign. We'll talk about that next right here after this message from Bear Mattress. It's coming your way next right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Do you have trouble sleeping? If so, you're not alone. That used to be me, lacking rest, tossing and turning. I was late for meetings. I never felt like myself. That's until I found Bear Mattress. Bear Mattress and their sleep recovery technology helped me fall asleep faster, as well as enjoy deeper sleeps. I felt like myself again, and you can too. Bear Mattress knows that every sleeper is different. That's why they have their sleep quiz on their website that finds you your perfect match. As a side sleeper, I matched with the Elite Hybrid Mattress, and I've been telling everyone in my life they have to try Bear Mattress risk-free. You can sleep on your Bear Mattress up to 120 nights, and if you're not getting the best sleep of your life, you can get it refunded. They'll pick it up with absolutely no hassle. So go to bearmattress.com and use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout to get 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com. Use my promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
Welcome back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cordasco, Chris Gawlik. And we appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. And you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Don't forget, tomorrow it is WTF Day with all of your fantastic comments. So Bruce Cassidy, we know this. He drives the Golden Knights very hard, more so than the physical health of this team. I'm thinking more about the mental health of VGK, because we know Cassidy, I mean, he just basically will grind these guys into the ground. So the Golden Knights, with 4 games remaining, they're leading the Pacific now by 6 points over the Kings, who have a game in hand. The top of the division pretty much set with VGK, the Kings, Edmonton, the Kings. Will at any point, I'm curious if, and Cassidy hates to do this because he wants a lot of momentum heading into the playoffs, is there any chance, the possibility of resting the players that are missing some action? And the Golden Knights played very well, minus those 4 starters the other night in Colorado. Can they afford to throttle down at some point?
They need to throttle down, number one. Again, championship team, championship pedigree, championship coaching staff. They don't need to grind out these last 5 games. There's a 4-point gap between the Golden Knights and the Los Angeles Kings. Kings, I believe, have a game in hand. Or no, not 4 points. I'm sorry, a 6-point gap, meaning the Golden Knights' magic number, so to speak, to clinch the Pacific is 4 points based on the wins and regulation differential. So 4 points. That's assuming the Kings are going to go on a 5-game winning streak, which is unlikely just in this NHL right now. So really the Golden Knights might be 2 points away from clinching the Pacific Division. So throttle it down, rest as far as the games go. If a player is not 100%, which I know a lot of players aren't 100%, but Jack Eichel, whether it's a lingering issue, a new issue, whatever it is, Petrangelo, if it's a sickness or something else, whatever these little things are that are going on right now, rest everybody. This team knows how to turn it on. They know when to turn it on. They did it pretty well just a couple short seasons ago. So make sure everybody is as close to right coming into the playoffs right now. Rest is best at this point, but practices go hard. Practices should be very difficult and tiresome, but in the games, throttle it back as far as who's going out there if there's any major injury risk. They don't need to win these games down the stretch.
I don't believe VGK now, 3 points back will catch the Stars, for that second position. So that is still technically up for grabs, but I don't think they should really worry about that as much as the Golden Knights should worry about themselves. And, the Golden Knights cannot prepare for any one team here in the playoffs because the battle now between the Wild and the Blues, they are tied at 93 points apiece because St. Louis lost to Edmonton last night. The Wild went wild, winning 8-7. Joel Eriksson Ek, 4 goals in his first game back, and he was out for 21 games. And then Kaprizov had 2 goals in an 8-7 win for Minnesota. He missed 41 games this season. 41 games, and that's going to be a difficult team. Who would you much rather play? I don't know if I've asked you this, the Wild or the Blues. And Cal Gary still in the mix, just 5 points out already. The Blues have played 80 games. The Flames have a couple of games in hand. Getting interesting in that mix.
Start with the Flames, I guess. The Flames would be the first preference. I would say it's tough because Minnesota Wild, you got Marc-Andre Fleury. Granted, he's a shadow of himself to a degree, but he's still a quality goaltender. Gustafsson does not have any deep playoff experience that I'm aware of. So maybe you argue Minnesota and then Binnington. The Blues can scare you, right? I mean, we saw what the Blues did just about 5 seasons ago when it was a carbon copy, right? In January, the team's out of the playoff hunts. They're forgotten, 6 months later, Gloria's playing and they're raising the Stanley Cup banner. So you just never know. And whether it's Colorado or Dallas or Winnipeg or Minnesota or St. Louis or Edmonton or LA, I think I had most of the teams right there.
Most of them, yeah, that's good.
They are all bona fide, not good playoff teams. You can make a case for any one of those teams to possibly win a Stanley Cup right now. And there's no easy outs right now. So long story short, I can care less who the Golden Knights play because the path is difficult no matter what.
Now, what if the Golden Knights perhaps tank when they go up to Calgary to get the Flames? Well, we've seen this before. There were so many shenanigans the last day of the season last year. Perhaps there's some tanking involved and whatever. I forgot to point out, final game perhaps for Marc-Andre Fleury at home there in Minnesota last night. Very emotional. And you saw his kids crying. Can't believe how big his kids have gotten now. So that was a really cool moment to see Fleury. They were on the ice as kids before the game. And then after the game, of course, they panned to them. They showed them. Utah eliminated from the playoffs. And do we see, I also was wondering if we're going to see any call-ups late in the season, like a Raphael Lavoie, who's on fire, the only stick that's on fire there in Henderson, coming up, any call-ups for VGK here late in the season?
It could happen. I mean, it would be established players like a Lavoie, like a Ron Bjerg, going a little deeper to Cal Burke and stuff like that, maybe. So it could happen. Again, there's limits to doing that, and as far as active players and such and all that. So I don't know. I mean, I think they grinded out what they got. Give Ben Hutton some more playing time. Yes. There you go. And you mentioned the scores in the games last night. What are the bats in Major League Baseball that your Yankees are cheating with right now? What are those called? The Titan, Torpedo? What are those things called?
the torpedo bats. My Yankees are definitely cheating, but they only work at home. They only work at home.
They had the torpedo hockey sticks being used last night, apparently, in the NHL.
In the NHL, they did have those. Nonetheless, VGK needs a break here, heading down the stretch, and we will see if they can throttle down. Coming up next, it's our locks and predictions for tonight's game, and much, much more on the way. On assignment, Chris Gawlik. I'm Tony Cordasco, back with more after this on Locked On Golden Knights. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? This is a Vegas tradition. Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it is so easy to lose track. And that's where Monarch Money comes in. It is your personal CFO. It gives you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts all at once, your accounts, your investments, and your spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start to build wealth. When I started to use Monarch, I just realized that I spend a lot of money in a lot of different places. I was spending a ton on food delivery. Now I have to budget even smarter and save more. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances and then track your spending and even plan your long-term goals. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off of your first year. Again, use that promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll receive 50% off of your first year at monarchmoney.com. Welcome back on this Thursday edition of Locked On Golden Knights. Tony Cordasco and Chris Gawlik. How was your bowling game, by the way, there, Mr. Gawlik?
Yesterday was actually a lot better, considering I bowled 9 games between last year's and this year's events, like 9 total games. And I bowled 9 games in the last 24 hours. And yesterday was good. I was happy. Didn't make a lot of money or anything like that, but more like a personal achievement type of thing. And I survived. I can still walk today, so that's a good thing as well.
Did you have to ice down the arm at all? Did you have to ice it down? Did you get a participation trophy? What did you win?
I discovered the medication of liquid encouragement to get my body through it. And I don't know. I mean, we could get some awards. You might make some money at the end of the season. I don't know. They give us little pins and stuff, and it's cool. It's more about just the friends and all these. We have over 100 people that get together from the United States that are a part of our team, if you will. So it's pretty cool.
That's a lot of fun. Good reunion, and thanks for making me hungry last night by posting those food photos for us, for the foodies and stuff. Last 3 games, 3-2 finals. I'm going to go 3-2 VGK. Why end the streak here? So I picked McNabb in Colorado. I'm not going to pick him again because he only scored 7 goals, but who picks McNabb but me? Dorofeev and Waugh does well. I think doesn't Waugh do very well against Seattle? I think so. These 2 teams, by the way, haven't played since December the 21st. We've talked about this repeatedly. Like at the end, you need to be playing all divisional games like Major League Baseball does. Like they should be playing divisional games. On December 21st, it was 6-2 Seattle at T-Mobile Arena. I don't see that kind of scoring output. Again, it's a Seattle team that can't score a ton. They get some good goaltending. Golden Knights, I think, again, we don't know who's playing. I would have to imagine no Hurdle tonight and no Eichel at the very least for the Golden Knights, but we don't know because there was no presser yesterday, no avail for Bruce Cassidy.
Well, and who else is sick? I thought Coach Cassidy alluded to William Karlsson also being sick and some other players. So
because he wasn't scoring goals. He wasn't scoring goals, so that they come up with some excuse. But he scored a goal.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, he's all better. He's all better now.
Well, maybe he should be sick more often then, Tony. So, like I said, it might be a mashed unit of a lineup. Keep an eye on the call-ups throughout the day, and 11 a.m. or so local time in Vegas. If about 10:48, if you see a tweet coming out that XYZ was called up from Henderson, that'll tell you all you need to know about what's happening likely in tonight's game. 4-2 Golden Knights, I think it's a game that they're going to handle. It might be in the balance. They might even trail 2-1 going to the third and then turn it on, something like that. But I think they get it done 4-2. William Karlsson, Riley Smith, I think that's going to be the line that drives the activity tonight.
Okay. No Olofsson. He's got no one predicting Olofsson to score. Last night down on the farm, Trevor Connolly, who, again, I'm not a big fan because of his past and all that, played his first professional game in the AHL with Henderson. He was on the third line with Matthias Sapovalev and with Kai Uchez. And it was a loss for Henderson. I think they're mathematically eliminated now, Chris.
It's an accomplishment to get mathematically eliminated from playoff contention in the Pacific Division of the American League. I think something like the top 7 teams in the Pacific actually qualify, and then it's like they have like an extra round or something like that. It's pretty crazy the way they do it in the American League. And listen, I mean, I don't know too many teams that have a successful NHL organization and American League organization in the same season. The price of the Golden Knights' success is an American League team with poor results year over year over year over year over year. So this is something you have to deal with. And good on Connolly to get out there. Good on Connolly to get a goal or get a point in his first ever game. And it's all part of the professional, I guess, rehabilitation process of what he's done in the past and trying to shake all that to become a better person. And getting a professional game is a step in the right direction for him.
I always laugh when people say that they're rehabilitating in Las Vegas. That's always a funny thing to me. Ryan Craig, 28, 34, and 4. Is his job in jeopardy? I was thinking about this last night. The game was on the NHL network, so that was pretty cool. But I'm just wondering, because they absolutely love this guy in the organization, so I think he's okay. But they haven't had like a ton of call-ups like from the AHL this past season where he's had, a lot of consistency in his lineup. So that can't be an excuse, could it? They got poor goaltending this season.
Do me a favor, Tony. What is a disgusting food to you? Name something that's disgusting to you right now, a food.
Zucchini.
Okay. If I give you 2 pieces of bread, and a ton of zucchini, what's it going to taste like?
Zucchini.
Okay. You can only do so much with the zucchini roster of the Silver Knights and get so much. The results don't look good, but I honestly don't think that matters to Foley and Down. I think they're developing players that they can. You look in the past, Dorofeev, Logan Thompson, Kolasar, Zach Whitecloud, Nicholas Hague. These are all products of players that did come through the American League. Now, we haven't had any recent players outside of Dorofeev who's doing pretty well. But not a lot of recent players making that move. Maybe Lavoie does. Cal Burke had some small pockets of success. So you look at what is happening and the players that are coming up, they're doing okay. Brennan Brisson was a failure, and I think Ryan Craig's, not career by any means, but a lot of his success at the American League level was tied to Brisson, and Brisson failed mightily. So I think one more season Craig has earned with being a Stanley Cup winner, with what you see happening with some players. And if it doesn't work out, then it's time to move on. But he has at least one more season, I think.
We have to point out a congratulatory post here for Tomas Hertl, nominated yesterday for the Masterton Award for perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. That was from the Professional Writers Association here in Las Vegas's nomination. And we can't say enough good things about Tomas Hertl and just how much he enjoys the game. He really does have fun out there. So congratulations going out to him. Anything else on Hertl? Are you going to be on assignment when you return here to the show? Can you do like tomorrow's show at like Flamingo in the Strip there on the street corner there. I like the sound effects personally, but no ambulance today, no garbage trucks. We're good.
Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard would be interesting, or maybe even Flamingo and Colville would be the one where it might be even a little more interesting with cars flying through that intersection and burning red lights.
We appreciate everyone tuning in on this Thursday edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. Thanks once again to the boss man, to Sean Woodley, for piloting our shows the last few days while Chris has been on assignment. I can't wait to see the content that you come back here with, a lot of food and bowling and complaining about too much oil on the lanes and all of that. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you are at. Tomorrow is WTF Day, What the Friday. Please leave your comments. They're always entertaining on YouTube or on X, Twitter. From my man, Chris Gawlik, I'm Tony Cordasco. I'm from Las Vegas. He is from some street corner in Baton Rouge. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Lockdown Golden Knights, and please take care.